So hi everyone, welcome to this demo of for Power BI. If you will just give me a confirmation if you're able to see my screen. Hi everyone, welcome to this demo on Power BI. So if you take a look at my screens, I've already opened the Power BI desktop version. So there are many flavors. I'll not say many. So there are three flavors of Power BI. So first one is the Power BI desktop. Second one is Power BI report builder, which is similar to SSRS. Then the third one is Power BI service. Power BI service is mostly the web version of Power BI. So every application or all the flavors of Power BI have their own strengths. So today we will not be looking at all the flavors, but the most powerful out of these three applications is Power BI Desktop. This is the platform where you develop your visual analytics, or if you call it reports. Uh, this is the platform where you develop. So, so what I'm showing you presently is the Power BI desktop. So if you take a look at the Power BI desktop, so let me just give you a walkthrough on the Power BI desktop. So once you complete the installation, so once you start the training, I'll provide you the link for how to get the installers. So once you finish the installation, you'll get an icons which will look something like this, Power BI desktop. You click on the icon and there you are. So you can get get into the Power BI environment. Once you are in environment, since this is a BI tool, you will need some data, so you can pull data from different data sources. So if I show you what are the data sources, so by default, if you'll see, this is since this is a Microsoft product, by default, if you see, it has provided different connectors like Excel, SQL Server, and Power BI dataset. So as we go along, we will understand the Power BI datasets. So if you want to connect or pull data from Excel data source or SQL Server data source, you can always do it. Then besides Excel, SQL Server, and Power BI datasets, if you are using some other databases or other, if you need some other data connectors, so you can use this get data option. So once you click on this get data option, you'll see the different data connectors like Excel, Power BI datasets, Power BI data flows, SQL Server, analysis service. This is basically SSAS, text or CSV, and web. So these are the basically common data sources that you can see. But apart from this, there are a bunch of other data sources. So if you can think of any data source, Power BI has it. If there are some data sources which a direct connector is not available, so there are always workarounds. So if you take a look at this, so you see there is a bunch of many data sources available. So out of these data source, you can select any of the data source you want. So now they have already, so Microsoft has already categorized the data source on the basis of types. Like if you want to connect to a file type data source, so this is you can use this. If you want to connect to a database, so you can use either of this. Like there is a Teradata database. So all these connectors, PostgreSQL, which is quite popular these days among data science users, so you can use this. Then Amazon Redshift is also quite popular. It's growing in popularity. So you can use these data sources to connect to different database. So now, then again going to Power Platform. So this is something inbuilt. Like if you're publishing a report, You can reuse a data model. So that's why they have provided these options. Then there is Azure. Since it's a Microsoft product, and Azure and Power BI both being Microsoft products, so it has provided a bunch of it has a separate category for Microsoft and big data connectors. Then apart from this, there are also online services like SharePoint, Azure DevOps, Google Analytics, Salesforce. If you want to connect or pull data from either of these connectors, you can always use online services. Then there is other option, so where you have like Hive, Python script, R scripts. So if you want that, you have these options. Any any questions here?
No.
Okay, great. So to save our time, I've just pulled in three data sets. First is financials overview, and then there is another called Titanic Train. So financials is basically financials and overview are related data sets or related tables. So financials is basically data set of organizations of startup organizations in US, whereas overview is the details of those organizations. Now, if you take a look at, so now there are three different views in Power BI desktop. So there is a report view, then there is a data view, and then there is a model view. So currently we are in the report view. In the report view itself, we can go ahead and create visuals. Like for instance, if I want to create a visual here, I'll just go ahead. Maybe I want to create a visual on name and growth. So this is quite simple. So here you see. So now I've created a very simple visual on name and growth. Like what is the name of the companies and what was the growth percent in the year 2015. But if you want to see the raw data, so let me just remove it for now. But if you want to see the raw data, I can just go ahead and use this data view. In this data view, if I select the financials, you can see I can see the I can see the direct table for the financials. If I want to see overview, I can see the details of the overview, like what are the columns, what are the rows. I can see that. Then apart from that, if I want to go to a Titanic train, so I can also see that. Then apart from that, there is also a model view. So if I'm taking a look at the model view, so I can see exactly what tables are there and what is the relationship existing between the tables. Like if you see here, financials and overview tables are related. So there is a relationship, and the relationship exists on a column called name. Okay, so I've manually created this relationship. So as we go along, we can see how we will create a relationship. So from manage relationships, if you see, there is a relationship between overview and financials, and the table that or the column that I have used to create a relationship is called name from overview and financials as well. So let's close this and go to uh, our uh, our report view. Now, like any other in any BI process or any data analytics process, so there are basically some steps involved. So first, you'll have to extract the data set from different sources or some source, and then you have to transform your data set, or you have to do the necessary transformations on your data set, and then you load it for further analysis. Sorry. But in Power BI, since it has a very good transformation option, you can just pull the data source from pull the data set from any data sources and do your transformation in the Power BI environment as well. So, for instance, if I want to make some transformations, after pulling the data, I can just go ahead and use this transform data option. So once I use this transform data option, so it opens another window which is called the Power Query Editor. So Power Query Editor, if you have used in Excel, so in Excel also there is like it's the backend engine for Excel or SSS is the same Power Query engine. So if you take a look at this one, so once we are in Power Query Editor, we can do a lot of manipulations or transformation of our data. So if you look at the transform option, you can do transpose, you can reverse rows, you can change the data types, you can split rows, a basic statistical function, you can create statistical columns, then some standard calculated columns if you want. Then it has a lot of features, like if you want to change the date format in a certain way, like for example, let me give you an example. Okay, sorry, it doesn't have a date field. Okay, sorry, it doesn't have a date field, but if you want to make some modifications, you can use it using this date, this particular icon. You can use it and make your transformations. Apart from that, if you want to add and create new columns, you can also do that. Then there is also something called as text analytics. It's an AI based feature where you can do a lot of text analytics. Then there is a feature called Vision, which is a cognitive service we will discuss. Then if you are interested in machine learning, you want to take your reports one step ahead, you can also use this Azure machine learning feature uh, on your data set. Okay, so once you complete your transformations, you can just go ahead, you can do a close and apply. So let's not go that details. So I'll just do a close and apply. Okay. So now, as I said, there is a relationship exists between financials and overview. So this will work as one entity. Let me start creating some standard reports for this demo. Okay. So basically, I have data for the financials of different startups. So if you take a look at the data view uh, for this overview table, so if you take a look at, so these are the different startups. It has the industry types. Then there is a short description, the year when it was founded, then the number of employees, the city, all these details. It has all these details. Whereas if you take a look at the financials, it has the details or the financial details of the same companies. Like this is the name of the organization, its revenue for different years, growth and expenses. So let's start creating some reports. So what is the scenario? So first you have to identify a problem statement. So what it is you want from your data set or from your data sets. Uh, for now, I want to analyze what are the different industries and how the different industries are doing in terms of the number of employees and in terms of the growth. How different industries, what is the relationship between the growth and the number of employees in different industries. So for that, let's start. So for that, I will use a scatter chart. Then I will use industries. So since I have industries, I'll just pick industries. Now if you see, I'm just getting one dot. Now in the x-axis, I'll use employees, and I'll use employees versus 2015 growth. uh, so I have employees, so I'll use employees as the x-axis, and then 2015 growth as the y-axis. So now I have started making some sense. If you see, uh, there are some which have like employees is in the x-axis, so this is the organization or this is the industry which has the maximum number of employees. But when it comes to growth, so it lies in the top three growing industry in terms of growth. It lies in the top three. So let's make it better in terms of visuals. So now I want different colors for my dots. So if I can easily do that using using industries in legends. So if I'm bringing industries in legends, so I see different dots. So now all the dots are same. So I want to bring another dimension or another measure into my visual or into my analysis. I want to also see how the profit was affecting for different industries, how the profit did affect. So I want to control the size of these dots in terms of profit. So if I'm bringing 2015, so now you see the size of the dots. So now if you check now, sorry, we check the size of the dots, the growth and the profit are hand to hand. So now, if you see top growing companies or the companies with maximum growth are even doing the maximum profit. Then, apart from this, let's. I want to see the top five revenue making companies. So I just want to control my visual. I want to control it to the top five revenue making countries, revenue making industries. So I can just go ahead on my visual. I've selected my visual. I want to select the industries. Now I can do some basic filtering, or I can just use the stop n option. And in the stop n option, I can just bring in revenue. I can bring revenue, and then I'll bring top five revenue making. Then I'll apply the filter. So you see, so now I have filtered my data to top five. So if I want to see the bottom five revenue, so I can just go ahead, select, apply filter. So now I just see the bottom five revenue making companies. Any questions?
No, no questions.
Okay, great. Okay, so this is how you can play around with your data set. So uh, one second. Okay, so now this is how. So now we are seeing like the bottom five revenue making companies. Like this is the lowest revenue making company. So that will be like travel and hospitality. Whereas if you take a look at the top revenue, you can always change and you can toggle between the top five or bottom five, or you can control, basically you can control your graph. So now if I want a better visual, I can just close it down and then I will be able to see a better visual. So you have control of these panels here where you can uh, expand or collapse. So now if I want to see like if I want to see in terms of distribution, I want to see how uh, how my profit or growth is doing. So for that I can just use a map visual. I can use a map visual. In the map visual, I'll just use the states, and then I will use the growth, or I'll just use the profit. So now these are the different. Okay, so these are the different states, and in these different states, what is the profit? So this particular place, which is California, has the maximum profit. Then you can see the size of the dots. Depending on the size of the dots, you can see like how much profit they're doing. Then apart from this, if I want, I can also bring in uh, more dimensions or to my analysis. If I would like, I want to bring in, like I want to distribute it on depending on the industry. So if I'm using uh, industry in my legend, so now I'll get something like a pie chart where there is a distribution of different uh, there is a distribution of different industries in different cities. So now I want to just restrict my view to the top three industries, or maybe I want to just focus on advertising, business products, and uh, computer hardware. So if I'm just doing it, so now you see I'm getting like a pie chart where I get the details of uh, advertising, business product, and computer hardware, how they are doing. So if you see, some places are doing better, like California, it's doing better in advertising and market, whereas in New York, it's doing better in business products and services. Am I making sense here, right? Hello.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Great.
Yeah, it's making sense.
Okay. Great. So next. Uh, so next, we can also Power BI has also given you some options or some AI visual options. For example, if you take a look at this particular data set, if you've heard of the infamous shipwreck incident, it's the ship's name was Titanic. So if you take a look at the data set, basically we are having the data for individual people, like how many people boarded that ship and what was their survival, like whether they survived or they did not survive. So their gender, their names, their class, their tickets, and all these details we have. So let's create some visual using Titanic dataset. So now if you take a look at there is a visual called key influencers. So if I'm using key influencers, so I can do something like this. So in key influences, I want to see what is the survival rate. So I use survival rate, and what is the survival rate on gender or sex. So if you take a look at it, I'll make some changes here. Okay, okay, increase. So now if you see, for female passengers, the survival rate was higher, like 55% higher, the overall survival rate. Whereas for male passengers, like the total count was 577, whereas like 0.19%, whereas in terms of female passengers, the survival rate was like uh, uh, count was 314, so which is like 0.74 people survived. Then if I want to change it from gender to passenger class, so if I'm changing it to passenger class, so if you see people from class one passengers, the count is higher. Like they had the average of survival was higher for passengers in in class one, whereas if you take a look at passenger class three, the survival or average of survival was very less. Then again, if I go ahead, there is another visual called decomposition tree. So you can always use decomposition tree. So if I'm using decomposition tree, like on same on survival. Then I can use gender and class. So now if you see how it behaves. Okay, so now this is survival. So 342 survived. So if I'm expanding it, so high value, I want to go to high value. So now if you see 340 to 233 were female, 109, if I'm not mistaken, 109 were male. Then again, I want to see high value. So now most of them were from class 1 passenger, like class 1 passenger class. Whereas in terms of male, if you see, most of them who survived were from class 3 passengers. So this is, I've just shown you as a part of demo of some basic analysis, but there are plenty of other things we can also do. Okay, so if I want to change the visual, I can use either of these tools. So I can just quickly go ahead and make these changes. Once I complete my changes, I can go ahead and publish my reports. If I want to create some custom calculations, there is also an option called as quick measure, where we can use this quick measure to do running totals and a lot of other calculations as well. So now you see these are the calculations that we can do. If you want to do a custom calculation, there is always new measure which you can use to create your own custom calculation. You can write queries, DAX queries, or DAX statements to create your own custom calculation. Okay. Any questions?
Okay. No, actually, I want to know which kind of license we require uh,
Okay. So for Power
in
BI,
terms of SharePoint, actually.
yeah, in terms of SharePoint, so SharePoint, you don't, there is no particular license that you need for SharePoint. So any Power BI desktop version uh, you'll be able to connect to SharePoint. So like SharePoint, as in you want to publish your reports, or you want to pull data from SharePoint?
Both actually.
Okay. There is no particular license as such. So there are basically two licenses. So Power BI Desktop is basically free. Yeah? So if you are
Okay.
installing Power BI Desktop, you'll be able to use it lifelong. For now, at least for now, you'll be able to use it lifelong. But you'll not be able to create workspaces and share reports with other users. So that's a limitation. But when it comes to SharePoint, I don't. So there are no particular licenses. So there are basically two licenses: a Pro and Premium. For Pro license, you get like 2 months. Once you, if you use your company ID, like an official ID,
Okay.
you'll get like 60 days of free trial. So that is enough for practice and even for certification. So if you want to go for certification, 60 days is more than enough once you complete the course, because my course, what I'll be doing, so it will be mostly focused on the certification. So if you keep
Okay.
practicing, and if you give yourself like another 20 days after the course, you are good enough for the certification. So once you complete the certification, then it's up to you how you want to take it forward. But yeah, coming back to SharePoint, so there is no particular version where which will connect to SharePoint, because if you take a look at it, let me just show you how to connect to the SharePoint. Okay, so you can connect to a SharePoint folder directly. You can connect to a SharePoint folder, uh, or else if you go to online service, you can directly connect to SharePoint online list, or even SharePoint sites. If you want to connect, you can always use. There is a web option. You can always use that web option and connect to SharePoint sites.
Okay.
Okay, SharePoint list or SharePoint web, you can always use that to connect to SharePoints. And once you
So
finish your,
do we require an pro license to view our reports on a
no,
SharePoint online site?
see, there are ways of doing it. There are ways of doing it. So unless you have a pro license, you will not be able to publish your reports. So unless you publish your reports, you will not be able to have a web version of your report. Currently publishing a report is basically you're pushing the report to cloud. Once your report is on cloud, you can generate a URL for that report, correct?
Okay.
Once you
Okay.
have that URL, you can embed it in SharePoint. You do whatever you want with that URL. Or else,
Okay.
once you publish your report in the Power BI service itself, you will have an option of embedding it in SharePoint. This is a direct option,
Okay.
SharePoint link, and embedding it in the SharePoint. So if you want to use that
Okay.
link also, you can also do that. But to do that, you have to start the training, and then in course of time, I can show you how to use those options.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Actually, to be very honestly, actually, I am a SharePoint developer. I have
Okay.
around 12 years of experience.
Okay.
So actually, uh, start working on Office 365. So I am learning the Power Platform.
Okay.
So I have experience on Power Apps or
Mhm.
Power Automate.
Mhm.
So actually, in terms of SharePoint, how we can use a Power BI. Uh, so so I'm learning in this way. Actually, I just don't want to separate. I just don't want to make a career just separate to a Power BI. Just how much Power BI I can use in a Office 365s.
Okay. So to answer that question, I'll give you a present scenario what I am working. So my
Okay.
company currently, so my client currently, they were using a bunch of this BI tools. So when we started off developing some basic Power App forms for them, migrating from SharePoint forms to Power Apps. So
Okay.
that's where we started. But then as we went along, we realized since they already had a O365 license, and Power BI was a component in that O365 license, so they were paying like another $9 or $8 for this Power BI. So this was saving a lot of licensing cost when it terms if we migrated all the applications from Tableau and Cognos to Power BI. So it made a lot of sense for them. So I think with since Power BI, they're embedding everything and bringing everything in one bunch. Sorry, hello.
Yeah, no problem. Yeah, no problem.
So since they are bringing everything in one bunch, I think for O365 people who are working in O365 technology, a basic understanding of Power BI is a must. So going forward, they should have an understanding of Power BI, because now yesterday or day before yesterday there was some applications, or there were some mails that were coming in. Like there was an application, it had a default email that was coming in, and we did not knew what to do with it. Like we want to create a report uh, for our stakeholders, but we were not sure what to do. So we just used Microsoft Exchange option. We pulled the data, and then we were easily able to create that report using Power BI. So it's something I think going forward every O365 users or developers will need. But it's up to individuals, like how deep they want to go, or what understanding they want to have on that application.
Okay. So actually, I want to know one thing that we have a SharePoint on-premises versions as well,
Mhm.
right? So can we use publish our Power BI reports on a on-premises version as well,
Yes, we can do that.
or we can only on a clouds?
No, on-premise also, we can also publish it in on-premise version. Uh, so on-premise version that you want to completely disconnect from cloud, so offline version also you want to see, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can also do that. So there are multiple options. So if you configure gateways and then using gateways, you can always do that.
Okay, okay, got it. Okay. So
Okay.
actually, yeah, uh,
Wait.
yeah, I got it. Thanks.
Okay. Okay. Any other questions or we're good?
No, no, actually. So, uh, no. So actually, whatever the development we do in a Power BI, actually, so we need to use a Power BI desktop version, right?
Yes, yes. But there are also other options where you can use uh, like Power BI service also you can use if you are good at Power Automate or there is a feature Power BI Power Data Flows. If you are also good at data flows, you can also use that to create reports in an online version. There are some limitations. Huh? There are some limitations because Power BI is mostly an analytical tool. So if you want
Yes.
particular reporting feature, there are some particular reporting features which Power BI doesn't give. But for that, they have another version. It's called Report Builder. So I'll also show
Mhm.
those details in my training.
Okay. Okay. So, so for us, suppose I want to create, I have a SharePoint online site, okay,
Uh-huh.
and I have some of SharePoint list,
Okay.
and I want to make some reports for a SharePoint list. So I need to use this Power BI desktop tool and connect my list as a data source
Yes.
and get data from there and then build uh, reports. Okay, and now then after that I publish the reports to the SharePoint online, right?
Yes. Yes.
Whatever you told that we generate a one URL and we can use that URL into a SharePoint.
Yes.
Okay, so now, so this is the process actually. So
Yes. Yes.
whatever the reports we need to create it, we need to do it in a desktop, right?
Yeah. Hello. Hello.
Hello, can you
Yeah.
hear
Yeah.
me?
Rajiv. Sorry.
So, yeah, no problem. So, so data is synced. Suppose I made some changes in the uh, database. Okay, so will it sync from the reports,
So
or
it's
we
not a
need to
one time.
do?
It's not a one time load. To be very honest, it's not a one time load. There are ways of workarounds to sync the data. So as we go along, I will show you how to sync the data and all.
Okay,
How we can refresh the data sets. So there are many things actually in terms of management.
okay, 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 okay. Thanks. Actually, I got a overview of Power BI. So actually, I will enroll for the course.
Okay. Okay. So
Okay.
what will be your
So
timing like? What is your availability? If I may know, I can arrange or give myself time because I'm also working somewhere. I also do data science and other trainings.
okay.
So what will be your
So
availability?
so in the morning, it will be a good because my office timing is 12 to 10.
Oh, okay. Okay, morning will not be a problem for me. This time will be okay.
Yes, yes.
Okay, we can do that this time. Okay.
Okay. Thanks. Thanks very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Rajiv. Bye.
Thanks. Thanks.